Ladies and gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, welcome to the Fighters Rep podcast, episode 69, Gary, and I don't want to hear any funny stuff. We're just getting started. I know it's episode 69. I'm your host, the Fighters Rep Fez, alongside the king of Richmond Heights, Miami, Florida, ignorant behavior. Gary, how are you doing, man?
I'm just trying to figure out, did somebody die? Because last week I was the prince. This week I'm the king. I don't know. Do you know something I know about what happened in Richmond Heights?
You're so deeply entrenched and established that you're both. You're both. And then your son's gonna be the third. Your son's gonna be the third.
All right.
But how are you doing, man? How are you doing? I'm loving, like I told you, I'm loving the shirt. I'm loving the shirt.
It's Biggie. There we go. But nah, man, everything's been good. You know, I can build some bunk beds and go to the dump and throw some other beds out and stuff like that. But everything's been good.
I like it, man. I like it. So let's kind of get right into it, man. Some of the biggest news, I think, Gary, in boxing history has happened today. And I don't say that lightly. I mean, a lot of crazy things and amazing things have happened over the course of the years in this sport. But today, besides getting the press conference for Beterbiev, Bivol, and, you know, all the excitement that came with that card, which looks to be probably, I would say, the biggest card in boxing history, we also got news that it's looking like Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford has been set, Gary, for September of 2025. That's this year for those mathematicians out there. And it looks like potentially even, we're hearing from a source online, I don't know how accurate it is, but it sounds like it, Garcia versus Haney might actually happen next, because they're saying that, and again, I don't know how credible this source is. They say it's credible, but that's what all sources say. But they're saying that, you know, Haney is willing to drop the lawsuit if Garcia is willing to do VADA, and both sides seem willing to do those things. And so we may have that fight. Now, what's kind of driving me a little bit crazy about this whole saga, Gary, is first we thought Teofimo Lopez was going to fight Subriel Matias. Then we thought Teofimo Lopez was going to fight Ryan Garcia just yesterday. And now it sounds like it's probably going to be Garcia Haney. So, you know, a lot of exciting stuff going on in the sport of boxing. What are your thoughts? I mean, let's start off with this incredible news of Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford potentially being set for September of this year, Gary. A mega fight.
Yeah, nah, for real. A mega fight. It's like almost like you know, I would say like Conor McGregor and Mayweather type of thing. You know what I mean?
Very
That
much
big. That would be big, because you got little man versus the bigger man, you know, David and Goliath and all that. And you want to see the little man with skills, a little bit more skills, beat the bigger man. That's always an event that people want to see, and see if it happens, and see if you can conquer the giant or conquer that. And they're two of the best in the sport. Canelo's the face. Bud is considered number one pound for pound. So, I mean, with that happening, man, I'm going to be tuned in. I want to see what's going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, for real.
Gary, what an incredible fight. You know, me and you have been talking about this fight for quite a long time. At first, I don't know if you remember, I was a little hesitant about this fight. You know, I didn't know how I felt about this fight, just because, you know, I felt like we were expecting a little bit too much out of Terence Bud Crawford, starting out down at like 135 pounds, I think is where, you know, he started out.
He did 130? Did he start at 130? Something like that.
Something like that. And he went all the way up now to 154. Now we're asking him to move up 2 more weight classes. And I just didn't think it was a realistic fight that could happen. But, you know, excuse me, when you think about it, Canelo Alvarez was also like at 147 right at one point. So I think the difference, obviously, is Canelo Alvarez has had so much time, Gary.
Yeah, he's a grown man. Right, he had to go from a boy to a grown man.
I mean, he's a real, you know, I mean, they're both grown men, but Canelo Alvarez has been in that division. Heck, he's went all the way up to 175 pounds, Gary. And so I'm very intrigued by this fight. And I do believe that Terrence Crawford could potentially win this fight, Gary. But this is a scary fight for Terrence Crawford. It could end up being an Amir Khan situation, where this guy's just too big. And even though his skills might be a touch better or way better, whatever you think of him, if he gets clipped one time by a guy that's that much bigger than him, Gary, that's the clip clause, man. Every fight contract got a clip clause in it, Gary. You can get clipped.
Yep. I mean, he's gonna get touched. It's just get hit with that special one, and feel that power and feel how strong he is in the clinch. And although I think Terrence Crawford is a strong guy himself, I think a lot of people probably would be surprised when they try to go up against him and try to push him like Errol Spence did and see, he's kind of strong. You know what I mean?
And it made me really think about his fight with Madrimov, right? We saw him move up in his last fight to fight Israel Madrimov at 154 pounds, a guy who, is pretty big and strong at 154. I felt like Crawford looked good in that fight, but it was a close fight, Gary. If we're being honest, that was a close fight. And I do feel like size had something to do with it, and I felt like a lot of people came away from that fight thinking that Terrence Crawford had probably reached his ceiling, right, as far as weight goes, right? I didn't think he was too much bigger than Madrimov. I mean, I thought they looked about even in there as far as size. If anything, Madrimov looked a little bit thicker.
He looked, but he's like, isn't Madrimov shorter?
A little, maybe a touch shorter. I mean, he's not that short, but I mean, Gary, 2 more weight classes? I mean, are we asking too much? Is he doing too much? Gary, you know how the kids say, you're doing too much, Gary. Is he doing too much, Gary?
Nah, I mean, it might be. We have to go see and see what it's like. And, he might be. You would have said the same thing maybe with Mayweather when Mayweather was fighting him at 154 and fight night, I think he blew up to way bigger than Mayweather. Mayweather was still like 147. Canelo was like, they were like Canelo like 160 something or something. You never know. I mean, these questions are always interesting. It was just like Usyk. Can Usyk go up there with those giants and beat them? And he went up there and did it. And, or Roy Jones Jr. starting going all the way up to heavyweight.
Yeah.
And people thought that was too much for him. So it's always an interesting thing. We'll find out if it's too much for him. I can tell you that.
Usyk was very impressive. I thought Roy Jones obviously was impressive too, but he took on a guy, not the caliber, Gary, of a Canelo.
Canelo,
no. Canelo still, even with those 2 weight classes above where Terrence Crawford is, he's still considered a pound-for-pound guy. I mean, you got to consider him top 10.
I mean, that's like Roy Jones jumping up to heavyweight and fighting Mike Tyson.
Right.
Yeah. At that
when
time.
He was still pretty good. When he was still pretty good.
Even at that time. A monster like Mike Tyson. And Roy said that was what was supposed to happen eventually after the Ruiz and fight Mike Tyson. Yeah. But it never did.
I don't know. It sounded to me, Gary, I mean, with all the news that's coming in today, it sounded to me that like whatever Turkey El Sheikh wants, Turkey El Sheikh gets, man. I mean, this guy.
He's pretty much buying up all the boxing, bro. He's pretty much buying up all the boxing, you have like some people want to push against it because I know Tank is one, but I think some people feel like if you unify it, you can't control how much money you make. It's up to one person to decide if they're gonna give you money, almost like the UFC model or whatever. And that's what I'm thinking. Some of the people who are pushing back on it feel like. For me personally, I love it. I'm getting all the fights I want to see. I mean, he's willing to pay one guy 70 mil, another guy 50 mil. What the shit? If I'm jumping on that, hey, what you want to? What do you want to do, Turk?
Gary, I'll fight anyone you want. I'll fight anyone. There's no limit really for that much money. And it's amazing to me how he's been able to go in there and make it happen. But hey, money talks, BS walks,
Yeah.
and the turkey gobbles, baby, and he gets with
Hey, I'm like, man, because I don't know if you've seen Tank rant where he was like, he's bad for boxing and everything and all this stuff, and he was going off about it because he wasn't invited to something or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm just
Well,
like,
I think, if I'm being honest, that sounds like it may be a bit of intimidation, right? Because let me tell you what it does. And we saw Teofimo rant recently. He's
yeah,
been ranting the past few days. And I think it also stems from that. And what I mean is, the boxing world, and I know this having promoted for the last 7 years, it's a marketplace. Any combat sport is a marketplace. And I think with this guy coming in with that level of money, that's FU money. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's FSU money. You know what I mean? Wow, that's a lot of money. It messes the game up, Gary.
Yeah,
Gary messes the game up.
Yeah.
And Top Rank, Teofimo, he's already a little bit sometimes, and he was on there on X going crazy, talking about how much money he was getting, and they couldn't make the Devin Haney fight, and he was making it seem like he wasn't getting paid enough, and it sounds like he was offered an amount for Devin Haney, and he didn't like the amount, and he countered it, and they didn't accept Top Rank didn't accept his counter offers. What it sounds like, so this guy probably came in and told him, "Oh, they're paying you that much? Well, look what I have here for you. There's a big old bag of money. And it's just it does. I think it does affect the market, Gary.
It does. I mean, it does in good and bad ways.
Yeah,
it does in good and bad ways. So,
yeah.
I mean, but hey, I'm a fan. I'm selfish. I'm getting to see who I want to see fight, and I ain't got to wait all day because he putting the money up. So we gonna find out who really scared of who.
Yeah, no, for real. And I wonder what Jaron Ennis is thinking. I mean, I wonder if they even showed him a number considering the decision he made. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like Eddie Hearn is pretty tight with the turkey. So we'll see what's going to happen.
I don't think Turk liked that Jaron Ennis pulled out. He said he gave me my word. So I don't know. You don't want to mess with the Turk money.
No. Not right now. You got to kiss the ring. There's too much bag behind that guy, man. He's got too much bag.
Yeah.
But I can't believe this fight's getting made, man. I'm very excited about the fight. I know it's a ways out, but let me just ask you before we get into the next topic. How do you think the fight goes, man? Like right now, how do you think the fight goes?
Okay, just for right now. I might change my mind and everything. Man, that's tough, man.
It's a tough one.
Because I can see it going so many ways.
I think people are going to make fun of us for being iffy on it, but I think me and you are like pretty hardcore fans, so I think that's why, it's tough for us to pick.
Well, because naturally the thing you want to say is Canelo's going to win. He's too big for him, whatever. But do we know that? Is Bud going to be able to box on the level that Mayweather did on a younger Canelo?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it's going to have to be hot. When you're fighting somebody that much bigger than you, you have to fight on a much higher level than they are to beat them. You know what I mean? Because so when Canelo moves up or when all these other people move up, they're fighting people whose skills aren't close to theirs. Even though the person is bigger, I have more skill than you.
Right.
So do you believe Bud has that much more skill than Canelo and that much faster? I'm just saying, I don't know.
I mean, Gary, I think he's got. It's almost like what you like, right? I mean, it's almost they're a different style of fighter. I think Bud is, he's better. He's a better switch hitter. right? He's a better switch
Mhm.
hitter. I like the way he puts his punches together. I think he's a great finisher. I think he's got, pretty good feet, pretty good defense. But, his feet have also, I think he's slowed down a bit, if I'm being honest with you, especially as he goes up in weight classes. He's not going to be moving at 168 pounds or even 154 the way he did at 135, 40, 47. He's not going to move the same. He's also in his late 30s, right? I mean, he's not a baby anymore, Gary.
But you would still think he would move faster than Canelo does.
Yeah, but I mean, how much is
much faster?
Right. And he's really, I mean, if he's gonna fight Canelo, I would imagine he's gonna have to put on a good amount of weight, Gary, because you're gonna want that extra weight, I think.
Yeah.
And I could totally be wrong, but you're gonna want that extra weight just to be able to absorb that power. I mean, Canelo's gonna walk you down at some point in that fight and just start letting those hands go.
See, that's the thing is you have to wonder if Bud will have enough power because Canelo has like a steel chin.
That's true.
I've seen him get hit with some hard shots.
That's true too.
How much can Terrence Crawford deter him? Because you got to deter him. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
bro. You have to put something to make him stop walking you down and pushing you into a corner and start pounding on you.
And
because who was it? Jamil or Jamal? I forgot which one fought him. It's Jamil Charlo, right?
I think so.
No. Yeah, that's who. Jamil Charlo.
And listen, can twins stop boxing, please? We don't need twins in boxing. All right, continue.
Yeah, Jamil Charlo. When he fought Canelo, he immediately felt the power and the strength, and he couldn't take. And then what he started doing, just running. Because once he started, he hits hard. Oh no. He had to get up out of there. I don't think Bud would do that. I think Bud would try to, put something on it or whatever, but who knows? I mean, it's hard. I want to go for Bud.
Yeah.
And if Bud does this, I always say I pick Drum Ennis to beat him, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so I always pick.
Wait a minute. I
need a drum roll. Wait.
I need a drum roll for this.
I always pick Drum Ennis to beat Bud.
Yeah.
Right? If Bud is able to beat Canelo, I rescind that.
Wow.
Because that's how crazy that is. That shows me something else. Like, dude, this dude is made of something else.
Gary, if he does it, I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves here, right? But if he does it, there's an argument that this guy is the guy.
Top 5, or you want to say one?
Like,
all time.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a big argument. I said in my head, I said he would have to be like top 5 at least.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about all time, but top 5 at least. Because he'll went all the way up from like 130 all the way up to 168.
Why do you always have to bring the weight lower than what I had it at, Gary?
It was I think he started at 130.
Fine, I'll let you have it.
I might be wrong, and I'll look bad if I am wrong.
No, you might be. I don't know. Here's a thought. Here's a thought. It would be, if he were to accomplish that, like we said, he would have to be considered one of the greatest of all time. Like, and I don't throw that term around. We don't throw that term around.
Nah.
Like, me and you don't do. This isn't ESPN. This isn't CTESPN. This isn't any of those things. He would have to be considered one of the greats of all time if he did that. But here's the thing, and I think this why I think this helps Crawford. If Canelo wins, it's not as big of a deal at all.
Yeah, nah. He got 70 mil though.
Right, but that's an ugly pressure. You see what I mean? That's an ugly pressure.
Yeah.
Right, because you're the overdog. You're not the underdog. And you're supposed to win this fight, dude, like based on your size. And you sat there at some interview and you said easy money. I think it was on, the Brunch Buffet podcast, whatever they call it. The McDonald's Breakfast Podcast.
You just butchered that.
He said, he said, He's a easy money, bro. And I don't know, Terrence Crawford he's got so much will and determination, right? And even if I think Canelo's going to win the fight, even if I thought Canelo was going to win the fight, that pressure combined with Terrence Crawford's determination, I'm not going to lie, Gary, it scares me a little bit, bro. Maybe I'm like superstitious. I'm a little bit superstitious, but I would just not be talking too much if I were Canelo, man, because that's it would be a little, I mean, would you say,
well, hey, let me tell you something.
I wouldn't say it's embarrassing, but it would be like a little bit embarrassing.
Well, here's my thing is, I was thinking like, when he first said, well, I have nothing to gain by doing that. I have more to lose than to gain to doing this or whatever. Because if I win, they say, he's too small. If I lose, then I should have won. And he had nothing to gain. And I was like, oh, he got a point. And then Turk said 70 mil. I was like, no point. No point. No point.
Yeah.
I got something to gain in 70 mil.
I guess who cares what everyone's saying when it's who cares about legacy when there's $70 million on the line? The whole love and passion for the sport goes right out the window when there's $70 mil on the line. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
By the way, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, join the channel. It's just $9.99 a month. Help me continue to grow. I'm dropping daily content. We do this weekly, and me and Gary go live after all the big fights. We might even, you never know, go out to some of these fights and cover them at some point. That would be amazing.
George, I'm not coming out there to sleep with you, okay?
No.
That's
definitely not it for me. And Boxeo Atomico's in here. He says, saludos.
Don't be flying me out, George.
Saludos back to you, man. And what are you, an OnlyFans girl, Gary? Get out of here. Man. But incredible, man. Incredible what's happening in boxing since Turkey got involved. I'm still, I'll be honest with you, I'm still shocked, man. I'm still shocked. And it doesn't stop there.
I always thought, because he would always say the right money. And I'm shocked at the amount of money. I'm not shocked that the fight got made. I'm shocked at the amount of money that they're both set to make.
Yeah.
One 70 million and the other one 50 million. That's just like not even close to what you normally get as a boxer right now.
I want to say, man, Gary, right? And this is where I got to give big credit to the Saudis, man. They're really investing so much in sport. And I want to say, Gary, that the businesses over there and maybe even the government-run organizations, whatever, I believe they get an incentive of some sort potentially to, sponsor this kind of stuff. I'd like to learn a little bit more about that, but it's my understanding that a lot of these Arab countries now are, especially in the Gulf region, right? Because, I'm from one of the more broke Arab countries. I didn't get lucky. But these Gulf Arab countries, they've got so much money through the oil revenue, Gary, and they know they're going to run out of oil at some point. So they're investing so hard in their economy, in their tourism, and sports, in all this stuff, and I think it's working out for them, man. And I think we talk about 70 million and 50 million. I mean, that means you need 120 million just to pay off the fighters. Forget everything else involved in putting together a fight. But, I want to say that's going to be the big bill in this. But, Turkey Al-Sheikh, my understanding, just bought 13% of DAZN. So, he's kind of he's touching every single part of this system.
Mm-hmm.
From all the people, because there's going to be I don't care, Gary, there's going to be a ton of people flying in to watch this fight to Saudi Arabia, wherever this shit could happen, and this shit could happen on the moons. People are going to try to get there, and all those people that are going to be coming in, it's going to boost their economy big time. Especially the Europeans, I think they're going to want to come in because they're a lot closer. They love their boxing. You know, all the people in the region are going to want to come. I believe you're going to have a ton of Americans flying through. They got all the American media and the UK media there covering all these press conferences. It's amazing. It's amazing what they're doing. And I'll be honest, man, I kind of wish we had some sort of government organization or businesses that were a little bit more inclined to, like, for instance, someone I can reach out to when I was doing the FightersRep kickboxing stuff, to reach out to say, look at this incredible product I have. It can really grow. It can really boost the economy. It can really build some fighters. And, you know, can you help me out? I think they have something like that that's a lot more accessible. You know what I mean? And it's just interesting. I want to go out there and find out more about it. Anyway.
I mean, from what I got from all that you just said, is that I wish I was born as a rich Arab.
Oh my God, that is hilarious.
Instead of from the broken place.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well,
but I get what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would like to know their thinking. I mean, maybe that is what you just said was their thinking.
Gary, there's no income tax. There's no income tax, right? And a lot of the countries, I mean, you keep what you make. There's like no business tax. I mean, just the way they do things with money is just it's a bit different. And you know, I'd like to understand it a bit better. And you know, I wish I could have.
Second thought, I thought when you want to understand a little bit better.
Yeah,
I think you want to. No, I was joking. I was gonna say a joke, but it was a little too dirty. I take it back.
Let's move on. Let's move on to the next. You know, because I mean, I feel like we could talk about Canelo Crawford all day, but I also want to touch on this potential Garcia versus Haney fight, Gary. I mean, this is something else that it sounds like Turkey is, you know, making happen, even though nobody thought it would happen. I mean, just a few days ago, you know, they were talking about there's no way, you know, even Oscar De La Hoya was saying, oh, he destroyed Haney. There's no reason for them to fight again. And, you know, and Haney was saying, you know, and Haney is in court right now, engaged in a legal battle against Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia, who, you know, we don't even know where he's at mentally right now, was saying this can't even happen unless they drop the lawsuit against me. You know what I mean, Gary? All of a sudden, we're hearing that, oh, it all got made. I mean, Gary, money talks, Gary. Money
I would say Big Turk. That's all you can say, right? Right about now, you're getting the fights that you want because Big Turk. That's it. You know what I mean? And if this is true, you know what I mean? If this is true, but, you know, it's going to do numbers because that was so polarizing. That fight was so polarizing. And now you want to see, okay, they get testing, they get everything they need to do, and then they go fight. And if Devin loses a second time, people going to say, see, it had nothing to do with performance enhancement drugs. Yeah. Now, if Devin wins, see, it was what he was taking.
Yeah.
So it's a lot on the line. It's a lot of intrigue. It's a lot of drama.
Huge.
Like a soap opera.
Yeah. It's a big male soap opera. That's all it is. It's a men's soap opera.
WWE.
Let me ask you the same thing on this one, man. What do you think happens if this fight gets made? Sounds like it's possible. What do you think happens?
You know, I thought about this, and I knew you was going to ask me this.
By the way, before you give me the answer, so Canelo's got to fight in May too, right? You know, he fights in May and September.
Yeah.
September's Crawford. I don't know who he's going to fight in May. It's got to be somebody.
I thought about that too when you said the date, because I'm like, are they both going to take another fight? Because that could risk them losing.
Well, it sounds to me, though, like Canelo and Ryan Garcia might be on the same card because Ryan was talking about coming back in May.
Maybe.
Imagine the size of that card.
But I honestly know if you're going to fight Devin Haney and Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia too, that needs to be the main event, not a co-main event, a headliner. That can sell by itself. You don't want to be underneath Canelo. You know what I mean? That's a big money fight. So why would I put them underneath each other? Nah, Let both have their own show.
Yeah, I like the way you're thinking on that one. That's smart business. Um, but what do you think happens in this fight? These two fight, Garcia and Haney rematch.
Well, like I said, I knew you was gonna ask me this, and I thought about it. I think I want to say I think Haney beats him only because I think Haney is such a good boxer that he's been in the ring with them. He knows what was the problem. Go back and correct it.
Yeah.
Prepare for it. I'm sure in camp they're gonna have him have the hand up like this all day. I'm sorry. It was
They're gonna tie some tape around it, make him fight like this.
You know what I mean? They're gonna make sure always hand up, hand up, hand up. They're gonna look for that, and they're gonna because let's be honest. Before Devin Haney got knocked down, he was winning the fight.
Yeah,
he was outboxing Ryan. He was showing he was a superior boxer. Ryan showed that he has the superior power and speed. Right. You know what I'm saying, with that left hook. But that's pretty much all he showed you. All he showed you was that left hook. So I think Devin Haney, I think he adjusts, wins on points. I think he plays it safe. He doesn't try to knock him out, anything. He just goes for points. He's gonna try to make it boring. Yeah. And so I think he wins like that. What's your thought?
First off, I agree with what you're saying. I didn't think about it. I really didn't think about it, but that is something I would always think about as a promoter, right? Maybe this fight belongs on its own on another card. You know what I mean? Yeah. I agree with you. I think that this fight should be on a separate card from Canelo, unless, I don't know, unless they think they can do some kind of huge epic event. I mean, whatever it is, if they do put it together, it better be at an arena that fits like 50 to 100,000 people. It's got to be something big like they do in the UK. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as far as the fight goes, man, I agree with you 100%. I thought Devin Haney was not only the better boxer, but I actually even thought he was starting to get back into the fight too. As the fight went on, like I know he got knocked down or whatever, and that's what lost him the fight ultimately.
Well, he got knocked down like 3 times.
Right. Even with all those knockdowns, one of the judges scored it a draw.
Yeah.
I don't think Ryan Garcia finds lightning in a bottle against Devin Haney again like that. I think Haney outboxes him in a rematch and is probably so conservative that it's a boring win.
Yeah.
If anything. Yeah. And I'll say this. A lot of people hate Devin Haney right now for this whole lawsuit thing that he did. They've hated him for a long time, but I think the lawsuit made people really hate Devin Haney even more. And Ryan Garcia's, such a big social media star. I think you're going to get a lot of attention with this fight, Gary. I think it's going to be a big seller.
I'm waiting to see it.
I think Devin Haney, Gary. I think Devin Haney is going to he's going to become the biggest heel in boxing. He's going to be, if he isn't already, Gary. And this is big because you really got to, I see this as a promoter, and it's almost like a WWE thing, Gary. This kid is now becoming, if I'm being honest with you, like a Floyd Mayweather, dude. He basically appealed to the commission to get the fight overturned to a no contest. They already hate him. He brought a lawsuit. He's arrogant. He talks all this trash. People hate his guts. And now he's going to fight Ryan Garcia, who's kind of been seen as like...
Well, it depends on how you look at Ryan Garcia. Some people feel like Ryan Garcia's a cheat. He's a butthole because of whatever his political beliefs, and also because of some people with the steroid things. Once you get a steroid accusation, it's certain people that will hate you forever.
But Gary, I feel
even you were in your feelings about Ryan Garcia.
Gary, I still feel that. I still think I'm listen. Please don't be upset with me, Knucklehead Nation. I'm Team Haney. I'm Team Haney because I just.
But how many people are like you, and how many people also
I don't think
No, I'm
anyone's
saying, and
like
how
him.
many people also don't like him for whatever political views he
I'm,
has,
I'm, I'm in the
and
minority.
him saying the N word. Remember, they had these
Yep,
videos of him saying the N
yep,
word.
yep.
He's talking crazy, reckless about a whole bunch of things.
And I'm still in the minority. And I'm still Gary. I'm a slice of the people. I'm not even. I would say I'm 2%, 2 to 5%. The majority, for whatever reason, just glossed over all of that you just said. They don't care that this guy potentially, was cheating. They don't care that this guy said what he said about a group of people. They don't care about none of that. The other guy sued him. That's a bitch move, and that's it. That they're not
It's
listening
kind
to
of like what
nothing else.
Drake did. It's kind of like what Drake did when he sued Kendrick. Well, he sued the company over the Kendrick beef.
That's what so that's what's happened, Gary. That's what's happened. And I think this kid, really, I think you're gonna see one of the biggest heels in boxing history. And Gary, if he wins that fight, this is what I'm leading up to. If he gets this rematch and he beats Garcia in a boring decision, Gary is gonna be the biggest heel in the universe. I just want to be please, Devin Haney, let me be your manager just so I can help you play up the heel, because you are gonna make a fortune. This kid's gonna make a fortune on people hating him, wanting to watch him lose. Because look, Gary, they came this close. They came this close to this young man losing. And then he ripped it from them. Gary, I'm telling you, Gary. I'm telling you.
I mean, yeah, and there's gonna be some people that love it. I'm just
team?
saying it's a win-win. Like
What
it's
team?
like how Floyd Mayweather was at one point, where you had a group of people that loved him, you have a group of people that can't stand him, despise him, hates him, and all it did was make people tune in. It's like when people tune in to see Greg Hardy fight in the UFC because they want to get his ass beat so bad. But when he wins, how can you dare let this monster get in there and fight?
Listen,
He loses.
Mayweather is the perfect analogy. And this kid fighting Ryan Garcia with all the social media sheep that are behind Ryan. Oh my God, Gary, I can't tell you. The numbers. I think the sheer numbers you're going to see are going to be incredible. I think it's going to be incredible. And
that's why I said it needs to be his own show.
You're right. You're right. Now, let me ask you. I know you think, like me, that Haney would win a rematch, but what team are you on as far as do you think Haney is
Beehive, or I gotta be the Beehive, or I gotta be the Swifties, or something like that? That's what you want me to say? Which team am I on?
The worst. Oh my God. I can't believe you just said that. That's
you know what I'm saying? That's basically how you posing the question.
Yeah, well, hey.
Am I part of the Devin High?
Are you a Lady Gaga or are you a Beyonce?
But no,
God.
I mean, I would say I'm a little bit more on Devin's side. I'm kind of closer to the 60-40.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit more on Devin's side, even though I felt it was weak suing. But I can understand why, but I still wouldn't have done it. So, but I'm also against Ryan. I think Ryan's lying about not taking nothing. Even if he took it to lose weight or whatever, to burn more weight, he took something. I think he's lying. I think he's trying to play victim. He's trying to use God as a thing and like, oh, I'm God and all this other stuff. I just feel like he's like trying to con me. So it's just like, well, I don't really care who wins. I'm a little bit more team Devin because I feel like he has more of the right, to be, so. I was picking Devin early on to beat Tank, then I changed my mind before he lost to Ryan Garcia. Yeah. But I don't know. I'm probably 60 Devin, 40 Ryan.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. Well, I mean, besides that, Gary, we had the Beterbiev, excuse me, Bivol press conference today. An amazing card. Again, probably the biggest card that's coming up in the history of boxing with a rematch between Artur Beterbiev and Dimitri Bivol. You've also gotten the co-main event, Triple D, Dynamite Daniel Dubois taking on Joseph Parker, which I think is an excellent fight, and the card is just littered with amazing fights. Amazing fights.
I feel like Dubois should have got a bigger fight than Joseph Parker.
Why
Like
is
that. I mean, we know who Joseph Parker is,
Yeah.
but you know, it's less people who really watch his fights, know who he is and things. And Dubois has worked his way up, beat Anthony Joshua, which is the big name. In the biggest career fight, after you fight Anthony Joshua, you go to Joseph Parker? Like, it doesn't even.
Well, you know,
I mean, it's like just taking a huge step back.
Yeah, well, I feel like, well, I mean, you know, Dubois is a champ now, basically, right? So, you know, Joseph Parker is, I think at this point, I mean, I'll push back a little bit. I think Joseph Parker has definitely earned a title shot against Dubois. I mean, they got to figure it out because Usyk, you know, I would imagine Usyk is going to go back and take a rest after fighting Tyson Fury a couple times.
Yeah.
So, you know, the division has to move forward. And I actually think Joseph Parker is a really good fighter. I think
There's so many other fighters that, you know, Joseph Parker at one point had his time to climb the ladder and challenge, and he ended up getting beat by Anthony Joshua. He ended up,
but he was a champ. He was a champ at one point.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying for him to climb up and be the guy, you know, be the guy of the division.
Gary, he beat Wilder. He beat Zhang.
Yeah, but
who's left for him?
Okay, look. That's later. You're talking about things later. I'm talking about before he even fought Wilder or Zhang. He was the big name with Anthony Joshua then. Yes or no?
Parker?
He was up there. Yeah, Parker, because he fought Anthony Joshua and lost.
He's always been at him here.
He was considered one of the top guys.
Yeah.
And at that point, he just never, you know, I feel like it's other people that have also worked now to get up to have this shot. I feel like Parker had a shot before and he didn't make it. And then, you know, now he's trying to climb back up to get another shot, which is cool for me. Even though, you know, that's cool for me, right? But I would like to see some of these other guys who haven't got a shot at it yet, like what's his name that beat Jared Anderson? It just went out my head.
Bacoli.
Bacoli. What's up with him?
Yeah,
big guy, big puncher. He's been working his way up, man. Why can't he get a shot?
It sounds like he's fighting something that might be like an eliminator versus Efe Ajagba. So him and Efe Ajagba are going to figure it out, find out who the king of Africa is, and then they're going to come and fight. I don't know. I'm sure one of them should fight for a title after that. But you know, I think what helps Parker's case too, Gary, is he was a former champ. He was a former champ, you know. So he's had some good wins. I mean, other than him, I can't put Zhang on top of him because he beat Zhang.
Even though Zhang knocked him down twice.
Yeah. And Zhang is fighting this guy, Ajit Kabayel, this Kurdish guy who I'm pretty excited about too. So it's a stacked card, man. Callum Smith is fighting Boatsi on there, and just Madrimov is fighting Virgil Ortiz on there, Gary.
No, that's a good scrap right there. That's a good scrap.
All these fights are amazing, man. I mean,
do you think Madrimov beats?
That's a tricky one for me,
Gary. Yeah.
Because me and you have talked about Ortiz, Bud Crawford. I think in the past we thought that was a fight that might happen at one point, or
we also talk about Ortiz and Boots too.
Yeah. I think Ortiz is a dangerous guy. You know, I think if he's firing on all cylinders on a good day, I think he could beat anyone, man. Just because he's so explosive and he seems to and he seems to punch hard. But you know, sometimes he doesn't have great performances. But I guess that's everyone, because I actually thought, I don't know if you remember, I thought Bohachuk beat him, the Ukrainian guy.
Yeah.
Last fight.
You told me. Yeah.
But Bohachuk is a beast. He just wrecked somebody on that last Saudi card too. So I definitely
Who
think
was it?
I definitely think he could beat Madrimov, man. It's a clash of styles, It's a style that can pose problems for people that are not used to it.
Yeah, I mean, that's gonna be a good fight. I gotta sit back and think of who I think's gonna win. I gotta sit back and get into my game room
Yeah,
and
yeah.
really study and see and give my opinion. Like my opinion matters.
Yeah. Well, it does on this channel, damn it. And if you haven't already, subscribe and join Knucklehead Nation. Gary, that's pretty much all I've got for you. I definitely wanted to talk to you about those things, but it looks like a lot more news continues to pour in, and we'll be dropping content as time goes on. And you can watch me and Gary every Monday evening around 5 or 6 p.m. Pacific. We'll let you know, and we'll be covering boxing and going live after the big events as well. Gary, anything you want to add, man?
Nah, man. Ready for these fights to start rolling. February starts it all.
I agree, man. I agree. Well, Knucklehead Nation, we appreciate you guys joining us a little bit early today. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Get your Fighters Rep merch in the link below. Join the channel, and we'll see you guys very soon.